All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the December 9th IGA committee meeting. First up today, Board of Election. Morning, Mike. Okay.
It's like, we're gonna talk about a contract, so I think that's an executive session thing.
And move that we go into executive session.
Sounds like the thing mentioned.
Okay,
Let's try Frank Rice.
F, I think.
F, okay. We have a motion, we have a second to go in for the medical, financial, credit, or employment history, particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a person or corporation.
That's my motion.
Second. Oh, thank you. And we have a second. So we are going to go, is there anyone you need in discuss this with you, the county attorney, everyone?
You could. Okay, county attorney and IT.
You're gonna see, okay.
Well, just advantage.
Okay. We're in executive.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
On second.
All right, so we are now back out of executive session. And next up on our agenda is Tammy Harris. Morning, Tammy and crew.
Good morning.
Yes. The first item on our agenda is to continue discussions regarding Town Trolley. We did have a discussion with onondaga purchasing. Basically the RFP that we initially put out pretty stuck to that 5-year term. So if we wanted to look at pursuing a contract with different terms, we would need to put out a new RFP. RFPs are done for this year. Nicole's got to get all the other stuff under contract for December anyway. So if that's something we wanted to do, we would look at getting a RFP out in January. But in our decision of whether that's kind of how we want to move forward, we wanted to have a discussion about the village's position and as well as the institutions and the businesses within the village and how that impacts them and what kind of terms we would want to pursue. I think last you thought was a 1-year term with 4 1-year renewals. And if we wanted to talk about kind of how we would want to move forward with that. So I don't know if you want to talk about.
So it's based on the village not wanting to do a full 5-year.
We don't feel that we have the financial wherewithal to commit to a 5-year contract, given the prices that were part of that contract and the continuing escalation for each of those 5 years. At the same time, we know that a 1-year contract is not going to be enough to entice probably anyone into saying, we want to do this. So it is our hope that the county would consider reissuing an RFP for 1 year, which we can certainly commit to, based on the finances that we have available, with the opportunity to renew that for up to 4 years, getting us to the 5-year period, but also, allowing for an off ramp for the village and for the contractor if things aren't working. As we have been talking more about not having a trolley, it is clear that the trolley is really appreciated by entities within the village and that its loss would be lost. That also getting to 5 years also gets us through the useful life of some of the vehicles, which is, I think, a big part of this discussion as well, both in terms of the fact that we bought them with federal funding, but also it's the village's hope that when those vehicles are ready to be surplus, some of that money could be, invested back into the system to provide for continued operations.
So what would that mean for your department to go out and have to do a full new RFP for 1 year?
So Nicole and myself we would probably use the original RFP as a basis, but we would need to go through and kind of scrub it and pare it down to just talking about the village. We need to go through all of that and make sure that fix any continuity errors that would result from talking about 5-year or talking about Otsego Express. So we'd have to really go through that RFP with a fine-tooth comb. And then, it would be the kind of the ramp up of getting a contract together and just thinking of the timeline just so that you all can if we got the RFP issued in January, probably realistically giving people enough time to respond, reviewing the proposals, depending on when that can get out. We may be bringing that to IGA in March. I mean, great if we could do February, but I don't know. Depends on everybody's coming back from the holidays and how can we get all that stuff out together. But we also have to get DOT's approval and it's, how long will it take them to approve it? So let's say January, bringing it to IGA in March for April board meeting. So that gives us April and May to finalize the contract. So it's tight. It's tight. It's not impossible, but just so everyone knows we really have to kind of hustle that first part of 2025 to get that contract, regardless, I guess, of the terms of it, we'd have to really hustle to get that contract together in time for the season. One thing I wonder is, how many will respond? Even with the renewals in place, because if it's kind of handled on a year-to-year basis, there's some risk. For an operator to do that, so, that is all speculative, I don't know how many will respond to something like that, but. And then obviously, if we didn't continue past the year, there's kind of be that immediate. Just as long as, we'd have to, before the end of the year, basically kind of offload everything on the system too. So that's something that, it would be a hefty first year if that's all we did. We had some extensions that would, obviously. I don't want to say justify, but it would, help in terms of the amount of effort that, primarily Nicole will be putting into making that happen, so.
Okay. Tammy, could you remind everyone and me as well of what the obligations are financially, what part of it the county pays for, and the part that the village pays for, and how that arrangement works? I know that it's been explained, but another time would help.
So through Nicole's position, which is funded through DOT funding, both state and federal, Nicole is able to acquire federal and state funds to help support the trolley. State funds for the operating and federal to purchase the equipment. And then the way the agreement is designed with the village, we apply all those revenues to the system and to all the expenditures of the system. And then at the end of that season, if we have more revenues generated, particularly through STOA, which is our state operating assistance, it's a formula based on system performance, but also Farebox to some extent, and the village does do advertising on the trolleys, and there's some revenue there. After all of that, if there is more revenue than expenditures, the village shows us their additional expenditures that they put towards the trolley, things like fuel, insurance, some of the things they need to ramp up for around induction weekend that's related to the trolley. And if they can show us, say if it was 6,000 in excess revenue generated, if they can show us at least $6,000 in expenditures related to the trolley, we give those funds to the village to help offset their expenses. If for some reason we don't collect as much revenue as there are expenditures, then it is on the village to make the county whole.
Okay, so the additional revenues get applied back to the village?
Yes.
Okay, but if there's a shortfall, then the village has to make the county whole.
Yep.
Okay, so we're generous when we can be generous with the extra money, and then we have the village step in and fill any gaps. Okay.
And it's probably worth noting that the village's extra expenditures are a little over $20,000. And the generous portion of the county is 4,000, 3,000, somewhere in there. So the village does assume the majority of the cost, aside from Nicole's time and Tammy's time. And
so so the state funds that are used to operate, are they used to pay the drivers and run the fare box, the different systems?
Pretty much to go towards all the expenses.
Okay.
Yep. So, we break out the expenditures right now in the contract by the amount of driver hours billed and the maintenance expenditures. The way we have it structured in this last RFP probably will continue that way. It's an all-in cost. We have the historical data for somebody to be able to kind of calculate what maintenance would cost. So then we're not getting that variability every year in maintenance, so they need to build that into their hourly rate. So we know how many hours we're gonna be billed for, and then it's easier for us to budget. So that will change moving.
Okay. So it definitely is an out of pocket to the village to to say, we're gonna provide this service.
Right, which is why we were not comfortable saying, we know how much money is sitting in the Charlie Enterprise Fund, and it was not enough for 5 years.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question, which is when the trolley reaches the end of its life, we would surplus that, Tammy, it would be auctioned off or to put,
Yes,
and so then we would get some amount of money.
yeah.
And where that's the money that, what would we do with that money? Would it go back into purchasing new trolleys on our end?
That's typically like with our Otsego Express buses, that's what we do. We put those back towards offsetting our local match for the
Okay.
purchase of the buses. So, I mean, the thought would be, we would want to build it into our agreement with the village, but you know, that would be my proposal is we would
Use it,
use it the same manner.
because that's one of the biggest expenses is to buy. So
Although,
with that,
well, what has happened in the past is that for whatever reason, these trolleys, even used, seem to be incredibly valuable to some people. And so they have sold at more than the 10% match. That has been our experience in the past. So, which is fantastic. And so it would be our hope then that that becomes part of the reconciliation process between the county and the village.
so if there's any delta over there that we got more than our match, because we use federal funds, right, Tammy? And
Yes.
they
Now,
have a 10% match.
the one item we would need to sort out, and Nicole has a question out to DOT about it. We have not gotten an answer yet. Because we've never come with, there's a level at which your freedom with what you can do with that fund that you get is restricted.
Yeah.
And so we've never even come close to what it is, so I don't have a good picture of what that level is in my head. Cause we're lucky if we get a few thousand for the CO Express buses. So given that the history of those having a higher dollar value, we do have that question out to DOT to figure out how can we work with them to make sure we capture as much of that for use locally as possible. I don't know if the DOT retains some of it or if it just becomes highly restricted. I've never had to deal with that before. So that's an unanswered question right now.
Okay.
I
So
should be receiving it.
I think I know a lot more about it than I did when we started.
Yeah, I just can't understand the accounting side of it, is that if the county has extra funds in selling something, that we would give that money over to a third party. I don't understand. I don't know whether that's something that we could even do as a county, is be able to give those extra funds.
Well, I'm not saying to give them, I'm saying to include them in the reconciliation, the annual reconciliation. It's not, because the reconciliation deals with actual reimbursable system expenses. It's not a gift. It is the village being reimbursed for what it puts into the transportation system.
Roughly like your expenditures of about 20,000 per year. And what we normally have in excess in revenues might be 4,000. So to help cover that cost of running the program as a.
I just don't know,
But this
yeah,
is-
given
this
it's
is-
stolen money and all that, that's what I'm thinking of, that I just don't know if we could even.
And
do
that's
that.
what you're checking on, Tammy?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
question to
Yeah.
DOT,
See if it's even-
Right. That's
Was-
what I'm thinking.
yeah, and basically I was asking, once we do have those funds, like in which manner is it possible to make sure they go towards, the village's contribution if we need like proof that the funds are going directly towards that from the county, because I know, it would typically stay within the county system, so once you transfer it over, but I think if there's, my main question, if there's a way to prove that the funds go directly toward the shared service, that I'm just wondering if that's possible. So that we could add some reassurance and put something in a potential contract with the village that the funds can be used in that case.
And in the past, the local match was provided by the village. So in some ways, not officially, of course, because you own them 100%, but the village has some skin in the game, and that we paid, at least for the first one, I believe, 10%.
Let me-
I I know that the last two
We're 100%.
were 100% funded.
The trolleys you're talking about.
Yeah, because we were able to get a local batch from ATC funds or.
There are certain funds that come
Source.
through from time to
Right.
time that can be
Yeah.
applied on certain types of purchases, and we were able to utilize them strategically. For the trolley.
So I guess the ask for today is whether we want to put out a new RFP for just a year for the trolley contract.
Yes, that is.
Or.
And how do
potentially-
you, I mean, you have to do all the work, so.
I mean, the timing will be tight. I'm personally not too concerned about the time to put out the RFP because it's fresh in my head from the last RFP that was quite recent, so. In my view of it now, it feels kind of like it's more just going to be fine tuning and taking a lot away versus kind of adding too much. If that, I mean, I know there's gonna be a lot of changes and there's gonna be a lot of adjustments I'll have to do to make sure that it is all accurate. I'm most worried about, I guess, getting the approvals from DOT versus Onondaga purchasing, because that's a whole part of the RFP process as well, as kind of getting it through all those channels. But as long as, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. And in my head, I think the trolley is, since it is so valuable to the village at this time, and in my head, it almost stresses me out more thinking of it just canceling without too much of an announcement or fanfare for the village. I'm committed to putting out at least another RFP to see if it's possible to bring it back or keep it going in a similar fashion, at least for a year, just to kind of provide that for a little bit longer for visitors and residents. So the timing, really my main concern is the timing of it. And making sure that everything's in place, especially if we have an operator that we kind of have to introduce to the system. And, in case. Yeah, if someone puts in a bid who's not as familiar. Yeah.
That's kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
that would be-
that's one of the biggest concerns as well.
I just want to confirm, I have the check in hand from the village's share.
Great.
Oh, good, for trolley purchase, so yes, confirmed, thanks to
And
you.
when was that, Tammy? How long ago was that?
That was in 2018 for
Okay.
$14,000.
So, yeah, it is kind of an institutional thing in the village, and I know that it helps on congestion, and with a visitor experience, it makes it a little easier for people. I mean, I do personally know local people who are like, I'm not riding the trolley, but the people who come here from other places are happy to have it.
It's unique for them too.
Yep.
It's a unique experience for them too.
So, I would be in favor of issuing the RFP. And if we have to do it for a 1-year term to make, to kind of align with the village's outlook and wishes, then I think that do that.
Just had another question. Did the village think about other ways of raising funds for this? If there is no other access from sale of the trolleys, is the village committed to finding other sources of revenue for this or grant opportunities or anything?
Yeah, that's what we'll have to do is look at grant opportunities.
And that's something that they're willing to do. So are we gonna need a resolution to go in and do a new RFP or just?
Nope, I don't think there needs to be any
Okay.
vote or anything. We just, before we went through all of that, we just want to
Okay.
make sure that was in line with how the committee was feeling. So then we'll go through and take the time and do that.
Is everyone good? Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you for your time.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Okay, the next is an approval to deobligate municipal restructuring fund grant from New York State Department of State. This was for the 4-town consolidation at $26,715. The reasoning for the deobligation was at the recommendation of Department of State. The wording of the work plan of this contract that dates back COVID, I think at this point, some number of years. It, in order to have this actually go through, you would need to have all 4 towns consolidate. And just to give some, if you need some history on it, this was a application that was done for, Worcester, Maryland, Westford, and Decatur to consolidate into one town. Now, years later, we have 2 of those towns that may be interested in having that discussion and furthering those efforts, and 2 that are probably not. And so the Department of State said, well, this grant that really requires all 4 towns to consolidate, it's kind of holding you back from going after funding to be able for the 2 towns that are genuinely interested in going after it. So they recommended that when we have not spent any funds under this, which is makes it clean, but their recommendation was to deobligate that funding so that we can work on putting in a new application for the 2, which is Westford and Maryland still interested. So.
So we need motion to do that.
Oh, I move that we deobligate the funds.
Yeah.
I do have a
Discussion?
question. So when we deobligate, do we have to send it back to Albany? Is that what we do, or can we?
Can we receive it?
We did not receive any
Oh, we
money.
never got, oh, okay.
So that's, yes, that's what makes it clean, is we have not expended any funds and we have not received any funds, so it would just be letting them know. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. Go to vote?
Keaton,
Yes.
Mickle. Aye. Kennedy,
Aye.
Bazile,
Yes.
Scanlon absent.
It was approved, Tim.
And then I have 2 presentations. The first one's very quick. I meant to do this last month and then we kind of ran against time, and that is just going over our Q3 priority outcome updates on, what we did in Q3. I'll be brief with that so we can spend more time on what's probably more interesting presentation, which is the tax parcel deal. Out of duty, I will give you this presentation. Now, what you have also includes our work that we did under SWEC. So I'm going to skip over those ones, but it's there for you so you can also see what we're up to on that side of things. Share the wrong one, sorry. All right, Q3. So, under planning, one of our priority outcomes regards improving planning and development practices in Otsego County. And so that includes us giving regular updates and trainings, and outreach to the municipalities particularly, but also to the general public about planning and development. So we completed 9 GML 239 referrals. We published our regular monthly newsletters during that quarter. Levi from our office provided a training to the public at the Swart Wilcox House on how to use the county's online mapping tools. And there he is presenting you to be very creative in giving a presentation without a computer. So on online mapping. And he did it. We also assisted municipalities when they bring ad hoc kind of land use questions to us, as well as how to use those mapping tools. And we coordinated with Richfield on a potential brownfield redevelopment site, as well as attending an online brownfield fair. So hopefully more to come with that. There we go. The second one, so one was to kind of improve those development practices, and the others to actually kind of support and make them happen. So we provided data and outreach for ORHA's vacant rental program application, as you all know now that they were awarded, which is great. And we also applied for innovative readiness training medical mission for 2027. I don't know when we'll hear back on that, but hopefully soon. Grant awards. During Q3, we were awarded the $1 million for the county infrastructure grant for the town of Oneonta's Woodland Water District. Heads up, that grant is coming back around again. And I'm gonna be engaging with the municipality soon to request projects. And I'll share that with the board, so you can reach out to your municipalities, ask them for projects, and I'll give the details on it, but basically it's 500,000 with a 50% match if you can't show housing growth with a project, but it's still infrastructure, and $1 million if you can show housing growth in 10 or more units of housing. Again, still 50% match. So there'll be more to come on that. We also had worked with MVED on a connectivity innovation grant for bringing more cell phone service to the Butternuts area. That was awarded. And we've also spent time meeting with community partners on local priorities and meeting with people at the state to kind of get our priorities under their radar, as well as held some public meetings and public comment periods for energy roadmap and broadband. Our third priority outcome in planning is regarding our GIS and increasing access to the geographic information in Otsego County. We did a lot to really ramp up the amount of data that we have, and that we also are able to make publicly available. We also coordinated on collecting data for broadband, for cross-street collaboration with E911, RPTS, and their dispatch, their computer aided dispatch supplier, and also with the state GIS office. Levi holds monthly GIS coordination meetings with other counties around the state, and it's been a really nice opportunity to share resources and collaborate on different projects. And so we continue to hold those. We provided data for various county departments, as well as the town of Springfield to work towards its pro housing community status. And you're gonna see some part of what we've accomplished during Q3 today with the tax parcel viewer and tutorial, as well as zoning map for the village of Otsego. The fourth priority outcome is regarding SWEC, so move to public transit. As you know, we released the RFP for public transit. Nicole continues to go to coordination meetings with our kind of various human services partners, as well as other transit providers. The big shout out I want to give to Nicole for this priority outcome is we completed our federal compliance review process, which is basically like a very detailed audit of our ability to adhere to federal standards with our funding. And it resulted in no findings. So I just want to, give a shout out to Nicole for that. That's awesome. It's really hard. So it's a lot of work.
Thanks for sharing.
And as you know, we completed the clean mobility plan and applied for some funding. I mean, we didn't get any responses to that RFP, so that probably won't go through, but we did, put in that work to do that. Adopted a new Title VI plan for our civil rights access to public transit, and conducted route studies, and as you know, that kind of resulted in some decisions about route changes for 2026. For weights and measures, year to date, Jody has completed 271 site inspections, tested over 1,200 devices, and done 85 fuel samples. He's investigated 5 consumer complaints, addressed 1 fuel petroleum quality failure. And he, most recently, and there's a picture here of it, he installed parts on his prover that helps ground it to reduce the risk of spark. There was an accident that had happened at a small airport somewhere else in the state, and it resulted in a fire. And so in hearing about that, he immediately said, I need to make some changes to my prover to make sure, or to help, reduce the chance of that happening to him. So just want to shout out to him on that. And that, I believe, is everything for you all.
Great.
Next.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you all. I'll have Levi, his presentation on the parcel viewer.
Oh, I'm sit here.
Yeah.
I leave it.
Okay.
So Levi's been working really hard on putting together a new parcel viewer. There are a few things that we're still finalizing that doesn't impact its usability. It would just enhance it, but it's live and he's gonna share some information with you and for anybody who watches this so they can understand how to access it and how to use it. So there you go.
All right. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. Let's see if it's working. It is working. Okay. And I know a lot of people have a thing of hold all questions to the end. I think that's silly. If you have a question, please just interrupt me and ask, because questions are always best and they're fresh. Like Tammy said, been working on. Really? Oh, that's an aggressive click.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I'll get over it. Okay. So right now, what we've been working on is this tax parcel viewer that is to replace and sunset the Map Express application that we've had for the county and the public to access for the last, I don't know, at least decade. I don't know why this keeps popping. And what that was doing, it was a little archaic, and there was issues where things would need to be updated, or individuals would have like properties or things like that, and none of that data was housed in-house here. This brings all of that maintenance and all of that GIS information here to where we hold it, but we also hold it to where people can interact with us and say, hey, we need this fixed or anything, and we can give them insight on something as to why that information is there, or say, hey, see, it popped up again. Okay. And kind of gives us that information that we can provide to the public for free. And we can provide them more information than just parcels. That are going to be able to have all different sorts of information available on the county website. And all they'll have to do is navigate to the planning department's GIS page. I hopefully soon, I have actually communicated with Real Property recently that this will be incorporated on their website as well, to have everybody, whether they go to the planning page or whether they go to the Real Property page, it'll allow them to link to it. And what it does is it does the same. We wanted to kind of keep the format almost identical to the older format, just so people didn't get confused or anything like that. But it also is available on the GIS hub that I provide, and all data is available for download. If there's no paywall, everybody has the ability to download anything they want. Just in short, if anybody wants to look up any property on the application, all they have to do is either type in an address, a landowner, or the property identification, which is known as the print key, in terms of at least what we do here in this county. So if you have your parcel number and you have the exact format, all you have to do is just paste it in, and I have it like the application modified, so it'll send it right to it with the most recent information that we have. All right, so these are just some examples of how search bar can work. This was the one thing that I wanted to kind of make sure and drove home, because I know anybody's gonna, even if they don't have GIS information, they're gonna know how to use a search bar. They're gonna want to know okay, hey, my name is Levi Anderson, and I know for a fact that, say, the house I own is under Anderson Levi. I can just type that in and it'll send me to my house, and I'll be able to see the GIS information I need on the property. Here are two examples. Oneonta City Water Department. I have their boundaries right there. And then there's another one where it's a state forest. We're able to just look that up. A couple things that I added into it. Obviously, we want base maps and parcels, but also flood data is very important to have. Wetlands, political boundaries in terms of, say, jurisdictions. Some things in terms we can work with the Board of Elections, and address points. I know I've done a presentation here before on address points on how, what we're doing is we're working to build the accuracy on pinpointing address points for houses and stuff like that to have genuine rooftop data. And as we build this out, all of this is constantly being updated on my GIS hub, which is automatically already on New York State GIS Clearinghouse's website. So they're able to pull data from our hub. So they already have it rather than us submitting anything for them or them having to go through a third party like they had to in prior years. The other thing too is any layer that you click on or anything, it will come up and it'll have all the different information that I have built into it. Like you see right down there where it says flood zone, it shows like the flood ID, whether it's the safety protocol for it, what type of flood zone it is, and then the hazard area and the FEMA classification for it. And that's just the example for the flood. Wetlands, there's all sorts of stuff. How's parcel viewer used apart from just looking up what your property is? Municipalities can use it, kind of to help plan things out. One of the things like I've found is interesting is real estate agents calling me or something like that to say like, hey, how many, where does that property line go or anything? And while it's not, in terms of legality, it's not like the end all be all because a survey is the end all be all. And, the Earth is a globe. This is projecting it on a flat plane, which is sometimes interesting to explain to people, but we get through it and have fun with it. It's also, great for, all types of individuals say they want to work at, or they're working on a project in SUNY Oneonta or Hartwick, and they want to do a local GIS project, or they're going for a geography midterm or something, what they want to do. This allows them to download the local data that they can build from, and it's all, they can download the file in any format they want, and it will be like 100% applicable to the software that they use. Anyone can export the files. Nothing is, secretive or anything, and this isn't like any damning information. This is all just public access data that the individuals will be able to export as a whole. Most importantly, what was the big thing is that it had a button to where it would show a buffer to say like, hey, this is my property. Can I get an estimate of what is like 100 feet from my property line or things like that? With a click of I built a widget, click of a button, an individual can use that. And they can do that in terms of whether it's a wetland buffer or whether it's, say, hey, I want this section of my property to be, I don't know, filled with corn, but this section to be alfalfa. So that was cool. And then also any and all maps are available with a print custom map that they can just set to themselves with, any set. So the next steps is connect SDG to the parcel viewer. A little background, SDG and kind of like, the before data set is information on like the property and whether there's been any updates or renovations on the property. I know anyone who's used the last or the older parcel viewer, they would go on and they'd click on, and it would have all the information that I'm promoting here, but it would also allow the individual access to something called a property card. And a property card shows all former owners, or at least like all when the property was last purchased, when was there, a deck put on or things like that. And I want to be able to incorporate that. I don't see that being, in terms of just having a property card, I don't see that being difficult. That's just more work and collaboration with a real property that, I see down the line, and they've been great with that. Promote the parcel viewer and the written tutorial to the public, which is kind of what we're doing right now. And the tutorials are available on the website as well. Thank you, Tammy, for doing that. Or was it Shepard? I don't know. I'll thank both of you.
I'll take it now.
Thank you, Tammy. Offer training to municipalities and partner organizations. I vocalize that trainings can be provided in person or virtual. I have it set up in my office where, anybody wants to come in and like learn things. Like Danny Sullivan has come in and, walked through a bunch of sessions with me. I've done a lot of things with the highway department to kind of teach them how to use these things. As you can see, I am very enthusiastic when it comes to teaching this kind of stuff. So I'm all for it. And I'm excited to see if we can kind of get, maybe even just a webinar or stuff like how to work things through and continue to update projects as needed. I see that as something doable. I mean, we're coming up on Q4. And so far, what I've done is I've updated the parcels every single quarter, for people to see. And just keeping that, we had to update the flood data a little bit because some things like went through with the DEC. And because we have everything housed on our own site, we don't have to call a private, sector company and say, hey, we're paying you, we want, you to update this. We can just do it in an hour. So yeah. If it's okay with everybody for time's sake, I do have just a super quick live demonstration I can do. I don't want to take up any time. Okay, cool. We're gonna have fun with this. Like I said, this goes right to the county website.
You may need to change your share.
I need to change my share.
Yeah, so here, stop share,
Stop share,
and then go into a new share,
new share.
and then, where is it?
It would be this one.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see, work. It did work. Awesome. There we go. So again, rewind back to the county website. So here, once again, thank you, Tammy, not Trevor. The tax parcel viewer is available here on the website, but also we went through step by step and we built out tutorials where people can just have them there to look at. My contact information and the GIS hub, all that information is there for individuals to look at. But tutorials are there, but without further ado, let's see. I mean, it will load. It just takes time. It's a lot of data. So here we have the parcel viewer. Everything is self-rendering, so it'll be able to go at a much faster rate, as you can see. I'm not doing this to make everybody nauseous. I'm doing this to go in and out to show that it loads very quickly compared to the last data set. So if you're looking at a piece of property and you want to know whether you have your flood data, you can come over here and look at your wetlands. It'll pull up all of that, your FEMA flood data, what are in flood zones, all rivers and streams. Load. There we go. And you can turn that off. And right here, if they want to look at something like municipalities, we have all school districts, towns and cities, zip code, boundaries, ag district parcels, fire districts. Individuals can come on here and look at, okay, we have 2005 imagery, we have 2014 imagery. If they want to go in and type in an address. So let's say, I don't know, let's think of a good address, 197 Main. Is it working?
The best address, really.
197 Main. So automatically I have it rendered to pretty much show the results of what we're going. It pans right to what we're looking for. And there's all the data that we will need for any property. And that is any property and all property within Otsego County. So yeah.
So, Levi, this
Yes.
has incredible repercussions for other municipal functions, like planning boards and assessing. So do you think that you could incorporate some of these things into some of the planning trainings that you do in the spring? Because just recently at the Hartwick Planning Board, we had a property come and we were like, when was the last time that property was split?
Mhm.
Because it was the difference between being a simple split or becoming a minor subdivision.
Mhm.
And the planning board clerk went and looked it up in the records for the next meeting, but is that the kind of thing that your parcel info would have on there?
Yes,
Like
most
the last
likely.
time they did a simple, like the last time they split the property,
In terms of the last time for those edits, that is kind of goes back to what I was discussing with the SDG and property card.
Yeah.
So what it is, so for instance,
Because if it's within 5 years, then they really shouldn't, they can't just do a simple again. Becomes more complicated. If it's been 5 years, then they
Yeah.
can just do another split.
so when you click on a property or whether it's a wetland or anything, here pops up a table showing all the information. There's one thing missing there that I want to work on, and that's the property card. Like,
Oh,
and what
okay.
that is I'm working with a real property to get that URL. What I have to do is then have all of the properties and all of the URLs, and I want to merge them all together so every single property has their own URL. And then what I'll do is I'll place that in here. And so what they'll be able to do is they'll click on that URL and it'll send that to the property card, and it'll show when was the last purchase, if the property was split, were there any additions on the property or things like that. In terms of teaching or doing teaching or doing any presentation, I'm all for that.
Sounds like you're gonna be on the agenda for our next spring training. Thank you for the idea, Rhoda.
I'm
Yeah.
all for that.
And assessing, lately out at the town, people have been saying, you know, there's all these properties that have not, like their upgrades haven't been recorded. And is there a clearinghouse of that? I know that codes is, but sometimes they don't always.
Yeah, and there's also like a lot of this is so like I'm taking data from what they build down, also in what they build down with real property. So like I've been working with them to say like, hey, we gotta, update some things, fix that. And anything that they have down there is what I'll pull and project onto here.
Great.
So if there, what's a good example? I had individuals reach out to me this week about state land, and they wanted to see whether it was DOT land or whether it was owned by DEC. And while my parcel viewer can show that it's owned by state, to know the exact ownership or what that's going through for which department, I can then send them to real property, because there they'll have all the information that they'll need.
It looks like it's just a great tool that a lot of different
Thank you.
people, individual property owners plus municipalities can use.
Yeah, I
Lots of
had
questions.
at Springfield reach out and ask me, hey, is there something that we can make for for Springfield that's digital on the web? I'm like, we already have it. Here you go.
Here. Great.
So
Thank you.
yeah, and I'm very adamant if there are any like things that come up to where we can build this better and like create constantly, grow this as an application for the county. Let's add to it.
I had a question there. With the new requirement that anyone that's doing short-term rentals has to register with the county for their property, I wonder if that's something that you could incorporate
Absolutely.
in here too, so that we can see which properties are short-term rental to make sure that we're collecting the
Mhm.
appropriate fees. And then if
We had talked.
somehow we know that, that was for rent, but it's not on here.
I've gotten to the point where I'll just tell people, if you have a table of the name and the address, I can map it and I will put it onto an application. It's just,
Yeah.
so it makes it easier for everybody. So nobody has to go through and do all this, like any other files. All I'll need is an Excel file to table, like name and address. I do. Yeah.
And then could you extract from that a listing of all of them?
Absolutely.
So that'd be
Yeah.
great. And then he could match that with what people have registered to make sure it's getting them all.
Absolutely. And we can also then show relationships in which town boundaries they're within, or with zoning they're within, and things like that, or at least try to build out a spatial relationship within that data.
Great. That'd be excellent.
Yep.
Great.
We all good?
Thank you very
We have
much.
fun?
Yeah.
Just a quick mention while I'm getting different things, turned off. Megan from Otsego now reached out to me about putting in another micro enterprise grant application. So I just want to give you a heads. She's probably gonna put in basically what's a pre-application that just tells the state that we're thinking about putting an application in, and then I'll bring that to January for the actual approval to submit the full application. Just trying to give you a heads up. We might be looking at, in the past, we've had it kind of with different program goals. We may look at doing a round, we'll see what, the committee says in January, but of a round that just kind of makes it a little more open to the different types of businesses and say, we'll promote it to certain businesses, but we've had,
That's
some
not-
trouble getting some recruitment in some of the targets. So if we do kind of an open-ended one and then maybe every other, we do a targeted one for certain sectors or something like that. But just to give you a heads up that that's coming.
Will she do the full 300?
Yes.
Excellent. A lot of people will be happy to hear that.
Yes, I know. So she said, she's like, I've been hearing from so many people. I'm like, yes, it's
Great. Thanks, Eva.
yeah, thank you all.
Yeah.
Eli, what is the brand of those?
Dry shot.
Your eye?
Yeah, you
Dry shot.
buy them at Brando's.
Okay. All right. Now you're coming in with a good info. Dry shot. I have no idea
I think I have.
about.
Yeah, I think they're on this.
For what?
Monk.
Oh,
So I've worn them for a long time and my first couple pairs were better than my more recent.
I see that.
And he said that
Yeah.
it would go to this other one.
yeah.
Right.
Penny, do you want to go next?
Oh, sure. I thought I was next, but if it's quick.
You want a picture?
Okay.
Oh, no, I got it. I wrote it down. Thank you.
Everybody read it.
Okay. Playing like Mona.
Okay. So I'm here to request the reappointment of Mike Henrici as Commissioner of Elections, Democratic Party, effective 1/1/2026 through and including 12/31/2028. And as you can see on the agenda that I gave you, that's based on the recently passed resolution number 361, 2025, 1105, which states Otsego County Election Commissioner terms are 4 years beginning January 1st of each alternate odd numbered year for term of office commencing on or after January 1, 2026. So in order to keep the terms staggered, which is what we want to have, first Dem term would have to be a 3-year term, beginning 1/1/26 through 12/31/28, and then every term thereafter will be 4 years. And the first Republican term would be as stated here. After it ends on 12/31/26, it would start on 1/1/27. So in order to keep them both on every other year terms, the 4-year terms of office on each alternate numbered year have to be effective the dates that I put on there in order to comply with the change in the law. So I wrote it out so that the resolution will be because it's, slightly complicated in trying to have them continue to be staggered and to do it in a way that doesn't get too complicated. Oh, and then just as supporting documentation, I attached the resolution and I also attached the certification from the Democratic Party supporting Mike Henry. So that's pretty much it.
So do I have a motion for resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you for bringing those dates. Yes.
Yeah, I think that
And breaking it all down.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
it's one of those cases where less said, best said didn't apply, so I think I'm gonna give it all to you.
Any questions, Joe?
No, thank you.
Pretty clear. Okay, we'll take a roll call.
Clayton.
Aye.
Mickle absent. Kennedy.
Aye.
Kazeel.
Yes.
Scanlon absent.
That was enough. We had enough votes. So you all set. Thanks, Penny. for
Okay,
doing that.
yes, thank you very much. See
Yeah,
you later.
Thank
you, Penny.
I just had two things. The first one is I want to thank Phil Kaus and Veterans Affairs for all their hard work at Thanksgiving, putting together a full dinner for veterans, the whole turkey, all fixings, all packaged and ready to go. And I know we served over 25 veterans, so I wanted to thank Phil and his group for all the work that they did at Thanksgiving. So thank you, Phil. And then the last thing I had was we didn't finalize the contract for destination marketing.
Right.
So given that we changed things in the budget, I thought we needed to relook at this. So she's got on page 2 of that. So for 26, it went in at their same levels last year at 750. So that would change to 750 for 26. And I know that like Tammy's brought in quite a few contracts for 5 years, and what they do is they do a standard, 3% increase or something like that for each year thereafter. I think I'd recommend maybe doing that if you guys feel that's appropriate. And then I would say subject to the county even receiving an increase in the sales tax of that same percentage.
Well, we did have it tied to that previously,
Did you?
and destination marketing chose to uncouple from that number when we hit COVID, and that number tanked and it went down. And so the connection to that was something that they decided it would be better to just have the number and not make it be dependent on that. So did we get a copy of the contract?
It's
We
right
got
there.
it in our email.
Yeah, I know it.
She printed it for us.
Oh, for,
She printed it. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I didn't.
some of us, oh. And
Okay.
it's not, I don't electronic it because I just looked at it on my computer, but.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking at it on my computer and couldn't find it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So like if you did 3% of the 750, that's, I don't know. If she
So-
just went up 25 each year thereafter, I'm not sure what the rationale was for the 25, if that, but if you did like I don't know,
Yeah, we should have probably had
3%.
Cass come in and talk to us about what the organization's recommendation would be for year 2, year 3.
She spoke about it in the presentation she did originally, which was, I don't know,
That was,
2 or 3 months ago.
yeah.
And it was basically, if I'm remembering correctly, based on just increases in
Yeah,
the cost.
it was
all
800,
things.
and that just
Yeah.
bumped it up 25,000 each year, so
Yeah.
could we just bump it up to 25,000 each year as she had laid it out, instead of going to 825, go to 775, and then we would hit 800 in the second year?
So year 1 in this contract is already goes up to 800,
Yeah.
right?
but it's 750 now,
It's
because that's what was
750.
approved in the budget.
Okay,
750.
okay,
Yeah,
right.
and then year 2 would be
775.
775.
And then,
Year 3.
850. I think we need to, I don't know, I think having something in there too, that making sure that our sales tax collection is going up as well, should be tied to this, because that's a lot of what they're doing, for us.
Is it-
Services is making sure we're seeing additional revenue through our sales tax.
is it our sales tax or our bed tax? I mean, it's
Well, it
both,
all,
really.
yeah, it all goes
But
in
like,
one.
But is
It's
bed
not
tax
fancy,
a way, a better way to monitor this? But then I'm really literally just thinking out loud, because of course people take day trips and
And
they
I'm
don't
not
stay overnight. and-
100% sure we are able to track the bed tax, especially now that the state is just sending it all back in one big lump.
Right,
So we'd have to just look at sales tax. So Michelle, would it be punitive if sales tax didn't go up that you would want to take away? Or like, I just am
Well,
not,
I
I
just
just
think
don't
it should be
understand exactly
negotiated,
how.
looked at, that if our sales tax, what if we get to a plateau? And our sales tax isn't going up for 5 years, yeah, there's, you know what I'm saying? I think it should be reevaluated and looked at if our sales tax isn't going up, because she's promoting us and the county, and if we get to a point where we're not getting extra revenue in sales tax, then I don't know. I'm just thinking that it should be looked at or reviewed
Yeah.
if there comes a point in time.
Yeah.
and then of course there's like crises that could happen.
Yeah.
And hope that never happens again,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm
Yes.
saying,
Oh,
like,
like-
or something
what if
unpredictable,
COVID-
something unpredictable.
Yeah.
One of those things. I'm uncomfortable doing much changing to it because of Cass not,
Being present.
being here with us, yeah. Could we?
Are we by IGA delaying it until January, or are
We
we?
need to.
Right, I know,
Right.
like, that's what I was getting to. Should Cass come to admin? Like, was,
Yeah, oh,
Oh, yeah,
good idea.
yeah.
Yeah, we still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
cause I wouldn't want to, I know they rely on this money
They
for
do.
their
They
payroll.
need to have it by the January 1st invoice has.
Right,
It
yeah.
has to be rolling. What if we, I like the idea.
I mean, does a resolution make sense as we discussed to cut back what Meg was saying, that we're at 75 this year? Or not even a resolution, just like an agreement in the committee that is what we would hope to see the contract change to. So
What-
year one, start at 750, year two, 775, year three, 800, 825, 850.
And then, I would be comfortable moving that forward. And then saying with admin that this could be further discussed with, after reaching out to destination marketing to see if those numbers are agreeable to them. And,
Yeah, does Cassie even
Yeah, but she-
know?
she knows the 750,
Okay,
but
I
then
figured she did.
we totally didn't think of
The
what would happen.
years 2
on
through
the-
5.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do you
And
think she would come to admin and we could
yes, I do
finalize
think
it then, so that's your
Right, yeah.
January board would give her.
I just didn't know if we needed some sort of like, a GA is cool with it before just going straight to
Yeah,
admin.
and I think we should.
Yeah,
Because we're the parent committee for it,
right.
Okay,
so.
I wouldn't wanna like trip her up going to admin
Right.
and then it not be able
Right.
to move forward because IGA didn't.
And it's set with the budget because we approved the budget at 750, so
Right.
that part is all
Right.
checked and good. But the out years are where we really just.
What
Yeah,
if
so-
destination marketing says, well, no, I'd like to just do a 1-year contract then and then come back?
right,
I mean, do they have that?
They could, yes, since the budget amount is set, if they want to
Right.
just do a 1-year contract for 2026 and then negotiate the out years at some point further on during the year, that would be fine.
I think she did it because she didn't want to, but
Right,
Yeah,
but she
yeah,
might
yeah.
not, she might want to because they didn't get what they had hoped.
yeah, and what if next year's budget, the same thing, yeah, I don't, you know what I'm saying?
So, think. Well,
So is it a resolution or just within our minutes that we that
no,
we-
I think that we should put forward a resolution,
resolution?
yeah.
Saying that we want to approve the contract with destination marketing.
How about if we approve the contract with destination marketing for year one at 750,000 and the out years to be determined?
GBT, that's what I was gonna say
Can
too.
we do that? At admin?
I don't know, I don't see why you,
It
it
doesn't,
doesn't make sense.
exactly,
Because then it's still really just a 1-year contract.
correct, none of the terms have been defined.
The most important term is not I find, which is honest.
Would it help if I called him?
See why she wouldn't want it at 25, because that's where she had it, you know what I mean?
Right, right. So if we're okay with doing the 25,000 increments, then I think that I would be okay with putting them in at those levels for the out years.
I am in support of calling Cass if we can, but I also need to be. But we'll see how by
Oh, okay. So
1:45 at
Let
least.
me just see if I can. Please.
Hey, this is Steve. Can I make a comment about this?
Please. I forgot.
You
Steve was in.
could approve this contract first year and have the out years be options to be negotiated. That would let you,
I feel
That's
like
what
Steve-
Monica raised an eyebrow at.
I feel like the options to be negotiated, much more technical than what Meg and I were trying to say, but.
I'm still getting.
well, then don't say options. I mean, don't say to be negotiated, but we can reach out to Cass and work something out, I'm sure, by admin. But I think, and I can't tell if Monica or Denise is in the room. Forgive my eyes.
Monica,
Yeah.
I think all we need for a resolution is a year and terms applying to a year and a dollar amount. And if we construct the other years as options, that should be good enough.
We're talking about your contract at the IGA.
Meg just got Cass on the phone.
Oh, even better.
yeah, so we'll see if she,
And I didn't know how you wanted to.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're okay.
Well, I'm not okay. I can't actually see anything, but
No, I didn't mean like that. I just meant,
I know.
I'm sorry you're still not feeling well, Steve.
I'm feeling fine. I'm just blind. I can hear you, however.
I'm sorry you're not seeing well, then I guess I should say.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're here with us. And so Cass said she would like, her best hope would be to have a 5-year contract with prices that we can agree on. So,
okay,
so I think the prices that we're looking at right now reflect starting at 750, moving to 775, 800, 825, 850. Yes,
Like 5 years, 25,000 escalation every year.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Cass. Then we can put that
Yeah.
together and have it go through today. Thanks. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks so much.
Monica, do we need something in this contract that says that it's subject to our annual budget process?
There should be an executory clause. in
Okay.
there, is there not?
I don't know.
You may have.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, there,
That's usually our,
Appropriated.
if there's not money
okay, yeah, okay, thank you.
out.
So, Loretta, I make a motion to modify the contract to the numbers that Meg has written down and we'll give to you later so you can reflect your minutes well, but at the 25 escalation, but adjusted to what was set in the budget this year at 750.
Yeah, so 750 for year 1, 775 for year 2, 800 for year 3, 825 year 4, 850 year 5. And I second that.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it? We'll take a roll call vote.
Keaton,
Yes.
Mickle, absent, Kennedy,
Yes.
Bazil,
Yes.
Cameron, absent.
And there's enough votes, right, for that? All
Yes.
right, good, okay. Excellent. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that was done.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to do that today.
Um,
Motion to adjourn.
awesome, yeah,
I second.
righty. Thank you, and we're all set, Jason.
Bye, everybody.
Good to see you.
Recording stopped.
Good to see you.
Wait,